Hello. Right, what I'm going to go through tonight with you is I'm going to do a series of videos regarding my new build engine. 7.25 gauge engine again, just because I love 7.25 inch gauge. It's big enough to manage nuts and bolts wise. It's not too small, not too fiddly, that type of thing. And what I'm going to go through in stages, it may take years and it may be a lot of viewing, and the reason I've decided to do it is I had a visitor come over and kind of see what I do in the workshop and stuff like that, and he was amazed, and he goes, "Oh, I haven't got anything, I'm not really into anything like this, but I think it's amazing that people have the passion to do stuff like that. I wouldn't know where to begin." And why I'm doing the video, or videos should I say, is because when I started, kind of in its infancy, I was looking over my dad's shoulder. You know, my dad had a workshop and I was looking over his shoulder, and I didn't know where to start, and I wouldn't know where to start, and that type of thing. And now I've gained a bit more of experience. I'm not saying I'm the best engineer, I'm far from it, by looking at some of the standards of work that comes out of other workshops. But my point is, I'm showing people where I started from and where the interest came from. So the interest came from being very young and getting introduced to railways. My dad used to work on the railway and stuff years ago, and he was keen on full size and everything like that. So when he used to be in his workshop tinkering away at the end of his garden, which was in a terraced house in Lincoln, and the space was a lot smaller than I have now, and the work he used to produce, he was a self-taught engineer. And that's what leads me on to these videos, because I'm kind of self-taught, even though I was stood watching him over his shoulder. And I've taught myself how to use a CAD drawing system, which I'm going to go into, and I'm going to link a video in this to something I did previously, and hopefully it'll help new engineers. It might not. You might think, wow, he's waffling on and it's boring. So what I'm going to do, just briefly, show you some things that I've already started on the engine, but the next video is going to be showing you further back than that, so where it starts, how I get to what I've created. So first off, what I'm going to show you is the buffer beam. There we are. Now that's the rear buffer beam for the tender. Okay. Now I'm not going to slag off any other companies or any other engineers that produce drawings for engines, but, and there's a but here, be wary when going out and buying drawings. And the reason I say that is, when you go out and buy a drawing, you're taking at face value that all those measurements in that drawing are correct, because one, you've seen an engine that's been built to that drawing. What you haven't seen is the amendments that should have gone on the drawing. Okay, amendments tend not to get published. They'll go, yeah, that's a drawing, that'll build an engine, sell the drawings. You go start doing stuff, and I found this when finishing my dad's engine, which was a 7.25 home side, published by Martin Evans, drawings sold worldwide, castings available, all the rest of it. There is discrepancies in those drawings, and you wouldn't know until you're starting to build it. You've got to be, like it was said in another group on Facebook, you've got to be 10 steps ahead. You have, or unless you're like me, you've bit handy on a computer and you can take the measurements that are drawn and kind of draw them again, but you're using CAD, and you'll see if it adds up or not. Now, a published drawing for this engine, the BR Standard Class 2, measurements don't add up, and also details are wrong if you want it as per full size. I'll use those because I'm going to reference that quite a lot. When I say as per full size, I want the engine that I'm building to look like you was looking at a full size steam engine. So we're working at 1.54 inches to the foot, and when you're working things out, there'll be a calculation that you can use, which I'll again show you on the next video, that you can take the full size measurement and convert it down into our measurement, which we need for 7 1/4 engine. So that was the buffer beam that I did. That was the first thing I drew up, had laser cut, and then I've added the detail to it. So I've added these angles on here, I've added this in here, this here. This is omitted from the published drawings, okay, that's omitted altogether. This is omitted, which is the vacuum elbow, okay, and this piece here and this piece here, so between my index fingers, that is one whole piece of angle all the way across on the published drawings. And if you look at a full size engine, and this is why I keep referring back to full size engines, that's incorrect. And the reason it's incorrect is how it's attached to the tender, and to the tender tank, how it's attached to the drag beam behind it, and things like that. So you can see where I'm going and where I'm leading to. As I said, I'm not slagging off of other publishers of drawings or anything like that, but do your research. If you want it to look like it's Big Brother, study the Big Brother, take a load of photographs of it, things like that, and go, okay, what do I need to change on my drawings? Because to me, the devil's in the detail. If you want it to look right, as my dad used to say to me, if you're going to do something, do it properly. And that's what's led me into this. The other thing I'm going to show you now is the drag box. You can see there. Now, the drag box on the published drawings is incorrect. That is as near as to full size practice as you can get. Okay, and I'm going to show you in my next video on how I got this done. Okay, the program I use and everything like that. And one other thing that I've done as well, which is drying, so I'm not trying not to move it too much, is that there. That is a lower stretcher for the tender. It's just been, as I say, it's just had a coat of black paint, so it's still a bit tacky. Okay, that's all been soldered up, and again, that is different to the published drawings. That is more like the full size. And you think, well, no one's really going to see that, so what's it matter? It matters to me because I know that it's there. I'm not building a show engine, you know, I'm not going to put it into an exhibition and want to win an awards. I just want it to, for me, I can say to myself, that's as near as full size as you can get. It, you know, a lot of it, like that for instance, that drag box, you're never going to see it unless you were underneath the engine. You as a viewer, if you saw this engine complete in a steaming bay or even running, you're never going to see that. So why should I go through all that detail? Because I want it to look like full size. I want it to be as it should. So that's kind of where I'm thinking of taking this video, of going through different phases of building an engine from scratch, from a kind of beginner's point of view. The whole point of it, there's been a lot of rumours, oh, model railways is dying off and stuff like that. It's not at all. All it is unless you're in the circles, you tend not to know about it. So for me, you know, technology is a wonderful thing, and saying to people, you know, anyone can have a go at this. Anyone can try it. Yes, you might not have a massive workshop. Model engineering clubs are a massive help, because you can guarantee there's someone that can solder or silver solder. There's someone that can weld all varieties, arc, MIG, TIG, whatever. There'll be someone that can use a lathe, and someone can use a milling machine, and they will help you along the way. There'll be someone in there that's really, really clever with AutoCAD or whatever computer system they use. Me personally, I use Siemens Solid Edge, because it's very, very basic but very, very good. And for having stuff cut out, draw it up in 2D, the measurements you want, like the drag boxes that I've done. Yes, you're drawing it multiple times and everything like that, and it's not 3D and you can't rotate it and stuff. I don't want to rotate it. I don't want to layer it up in different shapes and all the rest of it. What I want to do is go, there's the front, there's the top, there's the ends, and work the rest out from there. So that's why it works for me. I've tried doing 3D, and yes, I can do it, but I just find it overcomplicates things when it comes to having something laser cut. Me personally, that's not everyone's choice, and I'm not saying it is the way to go. Just me personally, from a beginner's point of view, something 2D, it's dead flat, you want something cutting out of a metal sheet, boom, you can do it. I'll put references into when you're building stuff where you can get parts from. So I have my laser cutting done from Model Engineers Laser. I send Ed and Holly an email probably every couple of weeks now of, can you quote me for this? And the part will be in a flat sheet that I've drawn on the computer. I'll send them a DXF file, and I'll explain that as well. A DXF file, they go, yeah, there's your quote, yeah, I'm happy with that. Out it comes, laser cut parts. And then I'll then start to go to fabricate it. I'm not saying that drag box was easy, because it's multiple parts, and thin steel warps when it gets hot. I used a lot of clamps to hold it together and hold it in shape long enough for me to run the solder through. It held together, always good, and that all sorted that. The rear buffer beam with all them rivet holes in, the rivet holes obviously laser cut in, and then riveting. I've got a tool that actually I was quite fortunate, because I inherited my dad's workshop. I've got a rivet snap holder, so I can hold the part over the top of it and then finish off the back side. One last thing I'm going to show you before I go, because this is getting a bit of a lengthy video already, just for me to explain what a video I'm doing. These, should know what they are if you're into steam engines or even diesel engines. It's a buffer stock for the new class 2. The back's been turned there, you can just see. That fits obviously onto the buffer beam. The buffer beam hasn't been drilled yet. Yeah, it fits straight in there. The buffer beam hasn't been drilled yet to accept those, because there's a plate between the buffer stock and the back of the buffer beam. So that's where I'm up to with that, and then I've got another couple of brackets to put on that buffer beam as well, which again are omitted from the published drawings. So me, I want those on it. I want it to look, as I say, like full size. So that's enough for me waffling on for 15 minutes. I hope people find it interesting. I hope I get viewers to what's going on. It might be a very, like I say, a very drawn out process. You don't have to, I'm not saying you have to build a class 2 just to, you know, follow the videos. It'll help you doing your engine, whatever it whatever you choose it to be. You know, it could be, you could start off small, you know, 7 1/4 titch, or even 5-inch. You could do it in 5-inch, but I'm not going to explain the calculations from full size down to 5-inch. I'm only going to do 7 1/4. Okay, so I'll show you the multiplication of the full size measurement down, and I'll show you references as well. So stay tuned for the next video. It might be a bloody fly in here. Oh, I don't know where that's come from. It might be in a few weeks' time. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping I can kind of get cracking with these videos. I'm up to my eyeballs with other bits and bobs, but I want to do these videos to help encourage, you know, more interest. Get people going to the clubs and talking to other model engineers, and you know, try and using a lathe, try using a milling machine, have a go at soldering. You know, there's people there, contrary to belief, although there is some stick in the muds, old stick in the muds at clubs, which I've seen whispers of it in different Facebook groups, of they don't like young blood, they don't like new people. Those clubs will end up killing themselves because of their own ignorance. So word of warning, if you're one of them clubs and you manage to watch this, if you're not encouraging either a younger generation or new members in, you will kill your own club. Simple as. So there we go. Yeah, stay tuned for the next video, and we'll get into the kind of the drawing, the referencing and all that type of stuff, and where you can start buying parts from. Yeah, thanks very much for watching. I hope you find it informative. If not, you know, put a comment on what you want. You know, or you waffle on too much. Let me know. See you later.